Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi, salam sejahtera, salam Sarawak maju makmur. Saya sekarang berlintas langsung dari Dewan Undangan Negeri DUN Sarawak, yang mana hari ini menandakan bermulanya sebuah episod penting dalam pentadbiran negeri, iaitu hari pertama Mesyuarat Ketiga bagi Penggal Keempat Dewan Undangan Negeri Sarawak ke-19. Dan selama 8 hari, bermula 24 November hari ini sehingga 3 Disember, pentas ini bakal menyaksikan pertembungan idea, perbahasan hangat dan juga kelahiran dasar baharu. Antara undang-undang ataupun 5 rang undang-undang utama menanti untuk dibentangkan, meliputi kewangan, perlembagaan, pembangunan, sumber serta alam sekitar. Dan pastinya setiap satu RUU ini bakal membawa implikasi besar dan semuanya bermula hari ini. Speaker DUN Sarawak Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Muhammad Asfi Awang Nasar sebelum ini memaklumkan antara RUU yang akan dibentangkan ialah Rang Undang-Undang Perbekalan 2026/2025 yang akan dibentangkan oleh Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Hari ini merupakan bacaan pertama dan kedua, diikuti bacaan ketiga pada 3 Disember kelak. Perbahasan oleh adun kerajaan dan pembangkang dijangka berlangsung pada 26 hingga 28 November, 3 hari yang dijangka penuh strategi dan retorik. Dan bukan itu sahaja, RUU Perbekalan Tambahan 2025/2025 akan dibentangkan oleh Timbalan Premier Sarawak Datuk Ahmad Douglas Gambas, dan bacaan pertama akan dilakukan pada hari ini, diikuti bacaan kedua dan ketiga pada 27 November. Seterusnya, RUU Pindaan Perlembagaan Negeri Sarawak 2025 yang dijangka dibentangkan oleh Datuk Seri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, yang mana bacaan pertama, kedua dan ketiga dijalankan terus pada hari ini 24 November. 2 lagi RUU iaitu Rang Undang-Undang Bangunan Pindaan 2025 bakal dibentangkan oleh Datuk Amar Dr. Sim Koh Hian. Rang Undang-Undang Sumber Mampan dan Pengurusan Sisa 2025 dibentangkan oleh Datuk Amar Douglas Ugah Embas, dan kedua-duanya bacaan pertama akan dilakukan pada hari ini, bacaan kedua dan ketiga dijadualkan pada esok hari iaitu 25 November. Baik, persidangan kali ini menerima 341 soalan daripada 40 ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri atau ADUN, yang mana terdiri daripada 257 soalan lisan dan 84 soalan bertulis. Baik, sebentar lagi kita akan dengarkan Rang Undang-Undang Perbekalan 2026/2025 yang dijadual dibentangkan oleh Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Dan terus ikuti perkembangan sidang DUN Sarawak di semua saluran TVS, termasuk di media sosial, di YouTube, Facebook, di TikTok dan sebagainya, serta aplikasi TVS Inspire. Kita masih lagi menunggu isyarat untuk menyiarkan amanat ataupun perbentangan Rang Undang-Undang Perbekalan 2026 oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Dan sekarang masih lagi berlangsungnya pemasyuran mesyuarat oleh Speaker DUN Sarawak Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Muhammad Asfi Awang Nasar. Dan mungkin boleh saya kongsikan sementara kita menunggu, yang mana hari ini selain daripada apa yang saya kongsikan Rang Undang-Undang yang akan dibacakan hari ini, kita juga akan melihat kepada usul untuk merujuk resolusi anggaran perbelanjaan pembangunan bagi tahun 2026 kepada Jawatankuasa Perbekalan atau Supply 2026 Bill 2025, dan itulah yang akan dibentangkan oleh Premier Sarawak merangkap Menteri Kewangan dan Ekonomi Baharu, Menteri Sumber Asli dan Pembangunan Bandar, Menteri Tenaga dan Kelestarian Alam Sekitar serta ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri N26 Gedung iaitu Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Selain itu, antara rang undang-undang lain yang bakal dibacakan, Rang Undang-Undang Kerajaan, Constitution of the State of Sarawak Amendment Bill 2025 yang akan dibentangkan oleh Menteri Pelancongan, Industri Kreatif dan Seni Persembahan dan ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri N15 Asajaya Datuk Sri Haji Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah. Selain itu, Building Amendment Bill 2025 yang akan dibentangkan oleh Timbalan Premier Sarawak, Menteri Kesihatan Awam, Perumahan dan Kerajaan Tempatan dan Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri N14 Batu Kawah Datuk Amar Profesor Dr. Sim Kushian. Kita masih lagi menunggu isyarat untuk siaran langsung perbentangan rang undang-undang perbekalan 2026 oleh Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Dan mungkin saya boleh kongsikan sedikit sebanyak daripada mesyuarat yang dijalankan pada Sabtu lalu, yang mana mungkin ini bakal memberi ataupun menyuntik semangat sedikit sebanyak kepada pengamal media, yang mana Abang Johari ada memberi bayangan ataupun hint untuk pemberian insentif kepada pengamal media, yang mana menurut beliau pada ketika itu, ketika ditanya ataupun ditemu bual oleh para wartawan pengamal media, beliau mengatakan untuk tunggu dahulu dan sekiranya ada peruntukan ataupun dana yang diperuntukkan untuk insentif tersebut, beliau akan memaklumkan dan mengumumkan perkara tersebut. Dan rata-rata pengamal media, iaitu daripada kalangan rakan-rakan saya sendiri, menyambut baik inisiatif ini, dan mereka amat menghargai usaha serta sumbangan Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Ada banyak lagi sebenarnya yang boleh saya kongsikan kepada anda, antaranya Belanjawan 2026, perlindungan sosial diperkasa, insentif sehingga RM6,000 untuk pekerja gig. Namun ini di peringkat persekutuan, yang mana sebelum ini Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim sangat menyentuh perkara ini, dan diharapkan mungkin Sarawak juga boleh mengusahakan perkara ini. Baiklah, saya sudah pun mendapat isyarat bahawa pemasyuran mesyuarat oleh Speaker DUN Sarawak telah pun berakhir, dan sekarang kita menunggu untuk menyiarkan kepada anda secara langsung perbentangan rang undang-undang perbekalan 2026 ataupun Supply Bill 2026 oleh Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Dan untuk itu, sekian perkembangan untuk pagi ini dari saya, Aida Mulyana, di Dewan Undangan Negeri Sarawak. Teruskan kesetiaan anda bersama TVS.
Terima kasih.
Rang Undang-Undang Kerajaan, bacaan kali yang pertama. Supply 2026 Bill 2025. Premier of Sarawak, Minister for Finance and New Economy.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmed Speaker, I beg to introduce the bill entitled An Ordinance to apply a sum out of the Consolidated Fund for the service of the year 2026 be read a second time. First time.
Supply 2026 Bill 2025.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmed Speaker, I wish to give notice that this bill would be read a second time today.
Rang Undang-Undang Kerajaan, bacaan kali yang pertama. Supplementary Supply 2025 Bill 2025. Deputy Premier, Second Finance Minister and New Economy.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmed Speaker, I beg to introduce the Supplementary Supply Bill, Supplementary Supply 2025 Bill 2025 be read the first time.
Supplementary Supply 2025 Bill 2025.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmed Speaker, I wish to give notice that this bill would be read a second time on Thursday, 27 November 2025.
Alali yang berhormat, the second reading, committee stage and third reading of Supplementary Supply 2025 Bill 2025 is set on Thursday, 27 November 2025.
Rang Undang-Undang Kerajaan bacaan kali yang pertama, Constitution of the State of Sarawak Amendment Bill 2025, Minister for Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts.
I beg to introduce the Constitution of the State of Sarawak Amendment Bill 2025 to be read the first time.
Constitution of the State of Sarawak Amendment Bill 2025.
I wish to give notice that this bill be read a second time today.
Rang Undang-Undang Kerajaan bacaan kali yang pertama, Building Amendment Bill 2025, Deputy Premier, Minister for Public Health, Housing and Local Government.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I beg to introduce the Building Amendments Bill 2025 be read a first time.
Building Amendment Bill 2025.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I wish to give notice that this Building Amendment Bill 2025 be read a second time today.
Rang Undang-Undang Kerajaan bacaan kali yang pertama, Sustainable Resources and Waste Management Bill 2025, Deputy Premier, Second Finance Minister and New Economy, Minister for Infrastructure and Port Development.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I beg to introduce the Sustainable Resources and Waste Management Bill 2025 be read a first time.
Sustainable Resources and Waste Management Bill 2025.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I wish to give notice that this bill will be read a second time on 25th November 2025.
Alali yang berhormat, the second reading, committee stage and third reading of Sustainable Resources and Waste Management Bill 2025 is set on tomorrow, 25th November 2025.
Rang Undang-Undang Kerajaan bacaan kali yang kedua, Supply 2026 Bill 2025, Premier of Sarawak, Minister for Finance and New Economy.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, saya mohon mencadangkan supaya rang undang-undang bertajuk satu ordinan bagi menggunakan sejumlah wang daripada kumpulan wang disatukan untuk perkhidmatan bagi tahun 2026 dan bagi memputukkan wang itu untuk perkhidmatan tahun itu dibaca bagi kali kedua. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, salam Sarawak maju dan makmur, salam sugulai sejalai. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Alhamdulillah, saya merapatkan setinggi-tinggi kesyukuran kehadirat Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala atas limpah rahmat dan izinnya. Saya dikurniakan kesempatan untuk membentangkan bajet Negeri Sarawak tahun 2026 dalam Dewan yang mulia ini. This budget is not merely a statement of numbers and education. It is a manifestation of our collective vision, a roadmap that charts Sarawak's journey towards a prosperous, inclusive, and sustainable future. In line with the aspiration of our post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030 or PCDS 2030. The global landscape is undergoing rapid transformation economically, politically, and socially. As we shape our fiscal path for 2026, we must be vigilant to the evolving economic and geopolitical forces that continue to influence the global, national, and state landscapes. These forces, often volatile and unpredictable, necessitate a budgetary framework that is responsive to new challenges, resilience against volatility, and strategically aligned with our long-term objectives. In this regard, the 2026 state budget shall be anchored on three core imperatives. One, strategic responsiveness. We must remain agile in our allocation, ensuring that resources are directed towards sectors that drive inclusive growth and national competitiveness. Two, fiscal resilience. We will strengthen our financial buffers and adopt prudent measures to safeguard public finances against external shocks and domestic volatility. Three, policy alignment. Our budgetary decision will reflect the priorities set forth in our state development agenda, with clear linkages to outcomes set in our PCDS 2030 that is anchored on three pillars: economic prosperity, inclusive society, and environmental sustainability. In this spirit, I will share with this august House an overview of the economic performance and key challenges of 2025, together with the outlook for 2026, which underpins the strategic framing of the 2026 state budget. Tuan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, economic performance 2025 and prospect for 2026. Global economy, as we approach the close of 2025, the global economy is entering a period of slower and more uneven growth. Shift in trade policies, rising protectionism, and differing fiscal responses across major economies have created an environment of heightened uncertainty. While the easing of tariffs has helped stabilize market, global growth remains modest. The International Monetary Fund, in its October 2025 World Economic Outlook, projects global growth to moderate to 3.2% in 2025. Growth in advanced economies is expected to ease to 1.6% in 2025, weighed down by tighter financial conditions and slower labor force expansion. In the United States, growth is projected at 2.0% as household spending and business investment moderate amid high borrowing costs and the gradual impact of recent tariffs on consumer prices. The euro area is expected to record a mild improvement, with growing rising to 1.2%, supported by export recovery and a more accommodative fiscal stance. Emerging markets and developing economies continue to anchor global growth, expanding by 4.2% in 2025 on the back of robust domestic demand, digital transformation, and ongoing structural reforms that are enhancing productivity and resilience. This trend is particularly evident in economies investing heavily in artificial intelligence, AI, renewable energy, and advanced manufacturing. India remains a key driver of expansion, with growth projected at 6.6%, while China's economy is set to grow by 4.8%, reflecting ongoing property sector adjustments and softer external demand, partly offset by targeted policy support and stronger regional trade links. World trade is expected to expand by 2.9% in 2025, slower than the 3.5% recorded in 2024, as early shipments and inventory adjustment ahead of potential trade policy changes provide only a temporary support. With pressures from energy and commodity prices continuing to ease and supply chain conditions improving, global inflation is expected to decline from 4.2% in 2025 to 3.7% in 2026. However, it remains above target in several advanced economies, while staying subdued in much of Asia. Downside risks persist, including renewed trade tensions, financial market volatility, and climate-related disruption. Nonetheless, the global economy is expected to expand by 3.1% in 2026, supported by gradually easing monetary conditions and continued momentum in emerging markets. Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, Malaysia Economic Performance 2025 and Prospect for 2026. Against this global backdrop, Malaysia's economy continues to demonstrate resilience, supported by firm domestic demand, a robust labour market, and sustained policy reforms. In the first half of 2025, GDP expanded by 4.4%, with full-year growth projected between 4.0% and 4.8%. Growth is underpinned by robust private consumption, stable labour market conditions, and continued policy support under Ekonomi Madani. Export recovery, particularly in the electrical and electronics and manufacturing sectors, is gradually strengthening in tandem with improving global demand. Nevertheless, the contribution from external trade remains moderate compared to domestic drivers of growth. Private investment momentum continues to be robust, driven by high-value sectors such as semiconductors, renewable energy, and digital technology. Malaysia's inflation rate is projected to range between 2.0% and 3.5% in 2025. For the first 9 months of the year, inflation moderated to 1.4%, down from 1.8% during the same period in 2024. This moderation reflects easing global cost pressures, stable supply conditions, and the absence of excessive domestic demand. The government's targeted subsidy rationalization and price control measures have also cushioned households from rising living costs. Meanwhile, the labor market remains stable, with the unemployment rate at 3.0% in the second quarter of 2025, the lowest in a decade. Fiscal consolidation efforts have also progressed, with the deficit expected to narrow to 3.8% in 2025 from 4.1% in 2024. This improvement is supported by higher revenue collection of 343.1 billion ringgit, enhanced governance, and more targeted subsidies. Looking ahead, Budget Madani 2026 underscores the government's commitment to strengthening fiscal discipline while promoting inclusive and sustainable growth. Malaysia's economy is projected to grow between 4.0% and 4.5% in 2026, anchored by ongoing reforms and resilient domestic demand, ongoing infrastructure projects, and strong private investment. The tourism industry is also expected to gain momentum under the Tahun Melawat Malaysia 2026 campaign, which targets 47 million visitors and 329 billion ringgit in receipts. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Sarawak economic performance in 2025 and prospects for 2026. I shall now move to the Sarawak's economy. Sarawak's economic growth is projected to remain resilient in the face of evolving global conditions. For 2025, Sarawak's economy is expected to grow by around 4.5% to 5.0%, underpinned by increased domestic activities and easing inflationary pressures. Supply side. On the supply side, the services sector, which contributes almost 40% to Sarawak's economy, is expected to expand by 6.4% in 2025. This growth is supported by improvement in the tourism and hospitality industry, with business visitors, investors, and tourist arrivals increasing by 7.0% between January and September 2025, compared to the same period last year. Sarawak's continued push to broaden trade and logistic activities is set to stimulate growth across key supporting subsectors, including utilities, transport, storage and communication, and government services. Complementing this effort is the accelerated development of telco towers, which is expanding digital reach and improving service delivery. The mining sector is expected to record stronger performance in 2025, with growth projected at 3.6%. This expansion is driven by higher output from existing natural gas fields and the commencement of new projects such as Jerun Gas Field and Kawasari Gas Development Project, particularly in second half of 2025. Growth is further supported by demand for natural gas as feedstock for the Sarawak Petchem methanol plant in Bintulu, supplied via dedicated pipelines from Sarawak's own gas resources. With Petros now serving as the sole gas aggregator, Sarawak is well positioned to optimize gas resource management and enhance value creation across the energy supply chains. Meanwhile, the manufacturing sector is projected to grow moderately between 2.0% to 2.5% in 2025, reflecting a temporary moderation in liquefied natural gas (LNG) output due to unplanned downtime and planned shutdown activities, including at the Bintulu crude oil terminal. Nonetheless, the operation of the Sarawak Petchem methanol plant in Bintulu have expanded the state's manufacturing base and export capacity, strengthening downstream linkages within the industrial ecosystem. The agriculture sector is expected to record moderate growth, with crude palm oil (CPO) production expanded by 1.7% from January to September 2025. Productivity improved as fresh fruit bunch yields rising from 10.97 tons per hectare in 2024 to 11.17 tons per hectare in 2025. Over the same period, the average CPO price in Sarawak stood at 4,258 ringgit per ton. Moving forward, CPO production is expected to maintain its upward momentum, driven by strong demand from major importing countries such as India and China. Consequently, the agriculture sector is projected to expand by 1.6% in 2025. The construction sector is expected to maintain strong momentum, with growth projected 9.4% in 2025. This expansion is primarily driven by the active implementation of major infrastructure projects, particularly in the civil engineering subsector, alongside sustained progress in the residential building segment. Tan Sri Datuk Amar Speaker, the demand side. On the demand side, firm consumer spending and steady investment momentum continue to support Sarawak domestic economic growth in 2025. While external trade recorded a total of 118.7 billion ringgit, between January and August 2025 compared to 132.3 billion ringgit in the same period last year, the decline reflects temporary adjustment in global commodity demand and export prices. During the first 8 months of 2025, export of LNG and crude petroleum contracted by 17.9% and 20.3% respectively, in line with the lower average Brent crude oil price of around $69 per barrel. Conversely, export of CPU increased by 3.5% in value, supported by higher prices. On the investment front, the Sarawak government remains committed to economic diversification by actively promoting private investment, particularly in emerging and high-value sectors. In the first half of 2025, Sarawak recorded 4.08 billion ringgit in approved private investments across various industries. Within the manufacturing sector, investment totaling 2.14 billion ringgit were approved for the period from January to September 2025, mainly in the basic metal and food processing industries, underscoring continued investor confidence in Sarawak's manufacturing landscape. Meanwhile, investment in capital goods reached 12.2 billion ringgit during the first 8 months of 2025, highlighting ongoing capacity expansion and capital formation across Sarawak's economy. Public investment is projected to grow by 16.7% in 2025, supported by ongoing infrastructure development led by both Sarawak and federal governments, which allocated 10.9 billion ringgit from Sarawak and 5.9 billion from federal respectively. This reflects continued effort to strengthen transport and utility networks, enhance public amenities, and accelerate regional development as Sarawak continue to pursue achieving the 12 Malaysia Plan overall targets. Public consumption growth remains firm, driven by sustained government expenditure on emoluments and operational costs aimed at enhancing the capacity and efficiency of the civil service. The rollout of the sistem Saran Perkhidmatan Awam further lifts public expenditure, reflecting the government's commitment to strengthening service delivery and productivity. Private consumption is projected to grow by 5.9% in 2025, supported by stable employment, steady economic activity, and easing inflation. The implementation of the system Saran Perkhidmatan Awam and the new minimum wage policy are expected to further increase disposable income and strengthen household purchasing power, reinforcing domestic demand and sustaining Sarawak's overall economic resilience. Together with continued financial assistance through Sumbangan Keperluan Asas Sarawak (SKAS), Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah STR, and Sumbangan Asas Rahmah SARA, as well as targeted support for healthcare, housing, and small business development, household spending power is expected to improve further. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, inflation. Inflation in Sarawak eased to 2.4% in 2024, indicating a more stable price environment. In 2025, inflation is expected to moderate further, with the average rate for the first 9 months recorded at 0.9%. The decline was mainly driven by lower inflation in the housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels category, reflecting improved price conditions and stabilizing input costs. Consequently, overall inflation for 2025 is projected to soften further, ranging between 1.2% and 1.5%, supported by contained global cost pressures, improved supply conditions, and ongoing domestic price management measures. Labour market. The labour market in Sarawak remains stable in the first half of 2025, with the labour force increasing slightly to 1.257 million persons compared to 1.252 million persons in the same period of 2024. Employment conditions continue to improve, while the unemployment rate held steady at 3.4%. Looking ahead, the unemployment rate is expected to remain stable within the range of 3.2% to 3.5% as economic activities continue to strengthen. These indicators reflect a resilient and steady labour market, supported by sustained growth in key sectors such as services, construction, and manufacturing. Overall, Sarawak's economy is expected to maintain its positive trajectory, supported primarily by favorable domestic conditions, even as external demand shows signs of moderation. For 2026, growth is projected between 5.0% and 6.0%, reflecting continued resilience amid global uncertainties. This outlook is underpinned by steady expansion across key sectors such as services, manufacturing, and construction, alongside sustained investment in infrastructure and energy. Strong private consumption and public sector spending will further reinforce growth momentum as Sarawak remains focused on building a diversified and high-value economy that promotes balanced regional development and inclusive growth. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, financial performance of the state in 2025. Before I proceed to table the proposed 2026 state budget, allow me first to update this August House on the state financial performance of the year 2025. Revenue 2025. I am pleased to inform this August House that as October 2025, our revenue collection has reached 10.3 billion ringgit, representing 73% of our projected target for the year. However, based on current trends, we are now projecting the total revenue for 2025 to reach 12.1 billion ringgit. This marked a slight reduction of 2.1 billion or 15% from our original estimate of 14.2 billion. The primary factor contributing to this shortfall is the sustained decline in global crude oil prices, which have hovered at an average rate of USD 69 per barrel throughout the year, and also the effect of Trump administration of tariff policy. The actual revenue collection of 10.3 billion is mainly from the following major sources. 1. State sales tax of 3.9 billion ringgit mainly comprise the following. A. Petroleum products of 2.9 billion ringgit. B. Crude palm oil and palm kernel oil of 801 million ringgit. Aluminium of 64 million ringgit, lottery of 59 million ringgit, timber products of 21 million ringgit, ferroalloys of 20 million ringgit, and polysilicon of 9 million ringgit. 2. Cash compensation in lieu of oil and gas rights of 2.2 billion ringgit. 3. Dividend 1.1 billion ringgit. 4. Interest and return from investment of 640 million ringgit. 5. Raw water royalty of 562 million ringgit. 6. Land premium of 232 million ringgit. 7. Forestry of 209 million ringgit. 8. Cash compensation in lieu of imports and excise duties on petroleum products of 120 million ringgit. 9. Federal grants and reimbursement of 744 million ringgit, and 10 other sources such as mining royalties, water sales, and land rents of 593 million ringgit. Expenditure 2025. The 2025 ordinary expenditure has been revised upwards from 13.71 billion ringgit to 14.061 billion ringgit, an increase of 346 million or 2.5%. As of October 2025, 9.86 billion ringgit or 70% of the ordinary expenditure has been expended, of which 3.96 billion was for operating expenditure, while 5.9 billion ringgit was appropriated to statutory funds. For development expenditure, a sum of 5.46 billion ringgit out of 11.07 billion or 49% has been expended for the same period. As the development momentum continues to pick up and project implementation intensifies, the expenditure is expected to increase towards the end of the year. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, Sarawak Budget Proposal for 2026. Now I would like to present the 2026 Sarawak's budget proposal with the theme Empowering People, Advancing Prosperity, Building a Resilient Future. This theme reflects the firm conviction of this government that our greatest asset is our people, and that the role of the state is to empower every Sarawakian, rural and urban, young and old, men and women, to participate fully and meaningfully in the progress of our beloved state. As we gather in this August House, the global economy continues to face uncertainty and volatility. The world is witnessing the reconfiguration of trade alliances, the resurgence of protectionist policy, and the profound impact of technological transformation. Yet, amidst these challenges, Sarawak continues to stand strong, resilient, adaptive, and confident in its long-term vision. This year's budget is crafted at a time when the world economy is adjusting to the impact of renewed United States protectionist measures, including the reintroduction of tariffs under the Trump administration, and to the softening of global oil prices, which have fallen from an average of USD $88 per barrel in early 2025 to around USD $74 per barrel by the third quarter of the year. These factors inevitably affect national revenue and consequently the fiscal space available to the state as well. However, Sarawak's fiscal position remains strong, anchored by prudent financial management, diversified revenue streams, and robust reserves. The state government foresight in introducing new sources of revenue, including sales tax on petroleum products and dividends from state-owned enterprises SOEs, has provided Sarawak with a sustainable fiscal buffer against external shocks. Building on this solid foundation, this budget has been carefully crafted to ensure Sarawak remains resilient, competitive, and agile in the face of global uncertainties. Anchored by past accomplishments and a strong foundation, we are well positioned to meet future challenges, protecting the welfare of our people and advancing shared prosperity across the state. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, 2026 Sarawak Budget Fiscal Framework. The 2026 Sarawak Budget Fiscal Framework is anchored by 5 strategic pillars as follows. First, we will strengthen fiscal and structural reforms to ensure our financial system remains robust, transparent, and adaptive to the evolving economic landscape. These reforms are essential to building a foundation that supports long-term growth and stability. Second, we reaffirm our commitment to prudent fiscal management. Every ringgit spent must deliver value to the rakyat and the state, and every investment must be aligned with the state's broader development agenda. Fiscal discipline will remain the cornerstone of our governance. Third, we will pursue an expansionary budget that stimulates economic growth and domestic demand by investing in infrastructure, education, and human capital, research and development, and innovation, digitalization, and environmental sustainability, we aim to unlock new opportunities and drive Sarawak's economy to greater heights. Fourth, we are committed to boosting revenue through diversified sources, including targeted investment in strategic industries, expansion of digital economy initiative, and the sustainable management of our natural resources. This will empower us to fund transformative, high-impact projects that stimulate economic growth, uplift the living standard, and secure long-term prosperity for the rakyat. Finally, we will promote inclusive development and equitable wealth distribution to ensure no Sarawakian will be left behind. We will bridge regional disparities and ensure that prosperity is shared among all segments of society. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, 2026 Sarawak Budget Goals and Strategic Trust. The 2026 Sarawak budget is centered towards achieving 5 overarching goals as follows. 1. Transforming Sarawak towards higher income economy. 2. Enhancing the rakyat's social well-being through people-centric and development-focused initiative. 3. Strengthening the state fiscal position towards long-term financial sustainability. 4. Positioning Sarawak as a regional economic powerhouse and key investment destination in Malaysia. And 5. Transforming Sarawak into a renewable energy and green hub. Guided by these goals, the 2026 Sarawak budget is framed across 9 strategic thrusts as follows. First, transform and diversify Sarawak's economy. Second, promote investment and foster strategic industries. Third, build high-quality education and human capital. 4. Protect and sustainably manage natural resources for environmental sustainability. 5. Bridge development gap and drive rural economic growth. 6. Safeguard the rakyat's livelihood. 7. Enhance culture, sports and youth development. 8. Spur research and development, science and technology and innovation. 9. Strengthen government capacity and public service delivery. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, now attached based on that trust revenue estimate 2026. In light of the 2026 global economic outlook and Sarawak's continued reliance on natural resources, particularly crude oil as its primary source of income, the total revenue for 2026 is projected to reach 13.1 billion ringgit. Another record, being the highest revenue among the states and region in Malaysia. This marks a slight decline compared to 2025 revenue forecasts, reflecting the volatility of global commodity markets and the challenges posed by external economic pressures, but it is above 13 billion. The 2026 state revenue estimate are derived from the following sources, major sources. 1. Tax revenue totaling 5.8 billion or 44% of the total expected revenue in 2026, comprising the following. A. 4.6 billion ringgit from state sales tax, of which 3.5 billion ringgit from crude oil, liquefied natural gas, and other petroleum products. 885 million ringgit from crude palm oil and crude palm kernel oil, 75 million from lottery, 88 million ringgit from aluminium products, 32 million from ferroalloys, 26 million from timber products, while the remaining 13 million from polysilicon. B. 650 million ringgit from raw water royalty. C. 226 million from forest royalty and timber premium. And D. 301 million from mining royalties, land rents, and others. 2. Non-tax revenue. This is estimated at 6.3 billion ringgit, or 49%, mainly derived from the following sources. A. 2.6 billion ringgit from cash compensation in lieu of oil and gas rights. B. 2.3 billion ringgit from dividend income. C. 811 million from interest income. D. 350 million ringgit from land premium. E. 120 million ringgit from cash compensation in lieu of import and excise duties on petroleum products. And F. 150 million ringgit from others, including licenses, service fees, permits, and rental. 3. Non-revenue receipt is expected to be 29 million ringgit, mainly from liquidated asset and damages, compounds, fees, and penalties. And 4. Federal grants and reimbursement are projected to reach 899 million ringgit, mainly from the interim payment of special grant amounting to 600 million ringgit. As we navigate global economic uncertainty, we are accelerating effort to diversify income streams and reduce dependence on natural resources. Our strategy will focus on developing strategic sectors, driving digital transformation, and embracing sustainable resource management. These initiatives are not only aimed at unlocking new pathways for economic growth, but also at enhancing the well-being of our people and securing long-term financial sustainability for the state. Tan Sri Atau Speaker, Ordinary Expenditure 2026. The 2026 Sarawak's budget proposes a total ordinary expenditure of 12.9 billion ringgit, of which 5.6 billion ringgit is for operating expenditure, while 7.3 billion ringgit is for appropriation to development fund account. This appropriation is to top up the brought forward balance in the development fund account to finance 2026 development expenditure budgeted at 9.3 billion ringgit. The operating expenditure of 5.6 billion ringgit is allocated to finance the following expenses. 1.4 billion ringgit or 25% for personnel emoluments. 2.2 billion or 38% for supplies and services. 1.8 billion ringgit or 32% for grants and fixed payment, which includes operating grants to statutory bodies and local authorities, servicing of public debts and payments of gratuities, pension, scholarship, including financial and welfare assistance, 99 million ringgit for procurement of assets, and 150 million for operating expenses. Budget surplus 2026. I am pleased to inform this August House that with the projected revenue of 13.05 billion ringgit and total ordinary expenditure of 12.91 billion ringgit, the 2026 Sarawak budget is expected to generate a surplus of 144 million ringgit. The 2026 Sarawak budget remains a strategic and expansionary budget built on the success of revenue re-engineering and prudent financial management. It empowers us to make bold investment in infrastructure, digital transformation, and sustainable development while placing the well-being of the rakyat at the heart of our priorities. Development expenditure 2026. The 2026 Sarawak budget provides an allocation of 9.3 billion ringgit for development purposes. This budget reflects our conscious response to global economic uncertainties, including commodity price fluctuations and geopolitical tension that continue to shape fiscal realities worldwide. Nonetheless, let us be reminded that the true value of this budget is not defined by its size, but by its purpose. It is not the quantum of allocation that matters most, it is the impact we seek to deliver. Tuan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, strategic trust and initiative. I will now highlight the strategic trust and various initiatives under 2026 Sarawak budget. Strategic Trust 1. Transform and diversify Sarawak's economy. Initiative 1. Transforming agriculture-based economy. Agriculture continues to serve as a vital pillar of Sarawak's economic development, ranking as the fourth largest contributor to the state gross domestic product. Notably, in 2024, the sector accounted for 10.2% of Sarawak GDP, amounting to 15.1 billion ringgit. Despite facing numerous challenges such as climate change, resource constraint, and inadequate infrastructure, agriculture sector strives to remain resilient and continue to transform. Under the PCDS 2030, the agriculture sector will be driven by technology to ensure food security, and subsequently Sarawak will become a net food exporter. In 2026, we will intensify our efforts to industrialize the agro-food industry by developing an integrated and resilient supply chain, with a particular to invest in modern and smart farming technologies. This initiative is central to enhancing the competitiveness and stability of Sarawak's agriculture sector. To this end, we are actively promoting the adoption of advanced technologies across the entire agricultural supply chain. A sum of 73 million will be allocated under the 2026 budget for the following. 1. 19.5 million for development of Sarawak Agro-Technology Park SATEC in Semonggok and Tarat. 2. 27.5 million for the development of precision farming park in Kabuloh, Sungai Sibiu and Rampangi. 3. 20 million for development of metropolitan food cluster in Opar. And 4. 5.9 million for implementation of Internet of Things IoT system for agriculture and aquaculture. Recognizing the critical role of innovation in agriculture, we will allocate 5.6 million ringgit in 2026 to strengthen agricultural research and development effort. This allocation will support initiatives in crop science, plant protection and quarantine, as well as sustainable soil management. 2. Develop agro-based industries. In advancing Sarawak's agricultural transformation, commercial agriculture will play a pivotal role in driving high-impact growth. Our focus is to cultivate a technology-enabled, high-yield and sustainable agro-industry that not only strengthens food security but also elevates rural incomes. To further strengthen the commercial agriculture sector, we will intensify efforts to expand food production zone and enhance supporting infrastructure. These measures are designed to create an enabling environment that encourages greater private sector involvement, fosters innovation, and drives productivity in high-value farming. In support of this agenda, a total of 21.4 million ringgit will be allocated under the 2026 budget. This includes 1. 12.4 million ringgit for the development of agro parks, which will serve as hub for modern technology-based agricultural activities, and 2. 9 million for the development of agriculture parks aimed at boosting our fisheries output and reinforcing food production capacity. Mr. Speaker, 3. Enhance food security. Producing sufficient supply of rice is of utmost importance to achieve food security in Sarawak. Currently, the self-sufficiency level SSL for rice stood at 21%. For us to achieve 60% SSL for rice, various key initiatives to boost rice production are included in the 2026 budget as follows. 1. 20.4 million ringgit for development of drainage and irrigation infrastructure at existing and new paddy areas. 2. 25.1 million ringgit for rehabilitation of Mid Sadong 1 or Lubuk Punggol scheme. And 3. 900,000 for various assistance to paddy farmers. In addition, Sarawak also aimed to increase the SSL for beef to 25% by 2030, reflecting its commitment to strengthening local livestock production and reduce dependency on imports. For 2026, a sum of 33 million ringgit will be allocated for cattle industry development programs and projects, among others as follows. 1. Establishment of cattle breeding and fattening farms. 2. Acquisition of quality breeder stocks. 3. Development of ruminant biotechnology center. And 4. Development of oil palm-based animal feed. 4. Enhanced infrastructure, facility and logistics. To accelerate the transformation of our agricultural sector, we will continue to strengthen and expand the development of essential infrastructure and facilities. For 2026, a total of 34.2 million ringgit will be allocated for the following. 1. 21.5 million for development of agricultural infrastructure. 2. 11 million for farm road development program. And 3. 1.7 million ringgit for establishment of collection, processing and packaging center for agri-food terminal. Policy and institutional support. Empowering agricultural and fisheries communities. In our continued effort to empower Sarawak's agricultural and fisheries communities, we remain committed to supporting smallholder farmers and fishermen who face increasing production costs. Through targeted intervention, we aim to boost productivity, raise income levels, and ensure the long-term sustainability of their livelihoods. Under the 2026 budget, the following allocation will be made available to strengthen this sector. For farmers and agropreneurs, A. 17 million ringgit for the crop development program. B. 6.1 million ringgit for the agriculture promotion program. C. 2.7 million for the farm mechanization program. D. 800,000 ringgit for the food industry and entrepreneurship development program. And E. 25 million ringgit for the oil palm replanting program under SACRA. For fishermen and livestock producers, A. 4.8 million ringgit for the fisheries and aquaculture development program, and B. 10.8 million ringgit for the livestock development and veterinary services program. Agriculture assistance program. We will also continue to empower our agropreneurs and rural communities to enhance agricultural productivity and development. Among the key initiatives are the Agriculture Facilitation Fund, AFF, and the AFF Jaya Tani program. Since the inception of Agriculture Facilitation Fund, a total of 265 million ringgit has been disbursed. As of October 2025, 247 million ringgit has been expended, benefiting about 182,000 participants. Under the AFF Jaya Tani program, a total of 50 million ringgit has been allocated. To date, 19.7 million has been spent. An additional sum of 5 million ringgit will be allocated under this budget to supplement the remaining balance carried forward from previous year for continuation of the program. Strengthening farmers' organization. Farmers' organization play a key role in improving market access by strengthening the collective capacity of smallholders. In 2026, a sum of 6.5 million ringgit will be allocated to Pertubuhan Peladang Negeri Sarawak and pertubuhan peladang kawasan to enhance their roles and efficiency in operation. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Initiative 2, Advancing Tourism Sector. Sarawak aspires to be recognized as one of the leading destinations for ecotourism and business events within ASEAN region. We aim to deliver signature Sarawakian experiences that reflect our identity, celebrate our diversity, and position Sarawak as a destination of choice for discerning travelers. Enhancement of tourism-related infrastructure and facilities. In support of the state aspiration, sustained development will be directed towards the development and modernization of tourism-related infrastructure and facilities. For this purpose, 129 million ringgit will be set aside next year, which include, among others, the following. 1. Transformation of old DUN building into performing arts center. 2. Redevelopment of MBKS swimming pool into water fun park and center of UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy. 3. Sadong Jaya mangrove tourism. And 4. Museum projects. 2. Tourism marketing and promotion program. To amplify Sarawak's presence in key markets and attract high-yield visitors, we will allocate 194 million ringgit to the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts for its operations and the execution of targeted tourism marketing and promotional programs, including the following. 1. Hosting event and festival that highlight Sarawak cultural vibrancy of 45 million ringgit. 2. Grant to Sarawak Tourism Board, Business Event Sarawak, Sarawak Art Council, and Sarawak Craft Council, totaling 106 million ringgit. 3. Sponsorship grants for cultural and heritage of 10 million ringgit. 4. Research grant of 5 million ringgit, and 5. Other tourism-related grant of 1 million ringgit. Number 3. Enhancing Sarawak ecotourism. In strengthening Sarawak's position as a leading ecotourism destination, the government is actively implementing strategic initiative and reforestation program to rejuvenate our nature reserve. For this purpose, 24 million ringgit will be allocated to Sarawak Forestry Corporation next year for the implementation of strategic projects, including the following. 1. Gunung Mulu National Park Management. 2. Bako National Park Gateway Redevelopment. 3. Nature Discovery Center Piasau Nature Reserve. And 4. Sarawak Park Guides Training and Management System. These efforts aim to deliver meaningful, sustainable experiences that intertwine environmental care with Sarawak's rich cultural legacy. We will continue to protect and promote iconic sites such as the UNESCO-recognized Gunung Mulu and Niah National Parks. For enhancing Sarawak connectivity and visibility. In 2026, we will intensify our effort in enhancing Sarawak visibility to attract more visitors, harnessing digital and social media marketing, partnering with travel agencies and airlines, and by participating in international trade fairs and exhibitions. The launching of our airline flagship, Air Borneo, served as a catalyst not only for domestic connectivity, but also to further promote Sarawak as gateway to Borneo in ASEAN and global regions. Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, strategic thrust to promote investment and foster strategic industries. We remain committed to attracting high-impact investment and nurturing strategic industries with strong growth potential. These efforts are aimed at diversifying Sarawak economic base and strengthening long-term resilience. To support the development of these strategic sectors, we are implementing enabling policies, enhancing infrastructure, and streamlining regulatory framework to foster a more conducive environment for innovation, competitiveness, and sustainable growth. Initiative 1, strengthening Sarawak's investment ecosystem, ease of doing business. As we advance under the PCDS 2030, our priority is to create an enabling environment where businesses can thrive, innovate, and contribute meaningfully to our state's economic growth. We are enhancing the ease of doing business by streamlining regulatory processes, enhancing digital infrastructure, and reducing bureaucratic barriers. Beginning next year, we will integrate existing systems into a single digital platform to expedite approvals and foster a business-friendly environment. Complementing federal initiatives, Sarawak is committed to accelerating industrial development through a comprehensive package of incentives and facilitation measures. Agencies like Invest Sarawak serve as strategic partners, facilitating funding access, streamlining investor services, and providing local knowledge to position Sarawak as preferred destination for high-impact investment. In addition, the government is formulating the Sarawak Investment Policy, which aims to establish a comprehensive regulatory framework encompassing incentive, strategic intervention, and support mechanism. This policy will provide greater clarity and direction for government agencies and investors, thereby enhancing coordination, transparency, and confidence in Sarawak investment landscape. Initiative 2, advancing enterprise development and strengthening local industrial ecosystem. Small and medium enterprises, micro SMEs, continue to serve as a backbone for Sarawak's economy, representing up to 96% of total business establishment. The government will continue to cultivate a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem by empowering local communities to pursue business ownership as a viable and sustainable pathway to economic prosperity. Through targeted support and inclusive policies, we aim to unlock the full potential of micro SMEs as engine of growth for Sarawak. Under this budget, an allocation of 31 million ringgit will be made available to support the growth and development of micro SMEs across Sarawak. The key initiatives include the Scheme Kredit Mikro Sarawak, Scheme Pinjaman Industri Kecil dan Sederhana, Program Peningkatan Usahawan Bumi Putra, Pusat Inkubator dan Bimbingan Usahawan, Program Pembangunan Kontraktor dan Pembekal Bumi Putra, Program Kontraktor Berdaya Saing, Program Graduan ke arah keusahawanan, Program Usahawan Teknikal dan Vocational, Go Digital Program, and Special Relief Fund. Furthermore, the Sarawak Recovery Business Fund has been instrumental in revitalizing affected enterprises. To further enhance training and upskilling program of the SMEs, a further sum of 20 million ringgit will be provided for this purpose. To empower Google and remote communities with the means to start and grow their businesses, my administration has introduced the Anjung Usahawan Development Program. For this purpose, 9.6 million will be allocated in 2026 to establish 16 entrepreneurship centers across Sarawak. These centers will serve as vital platform for enterprise development, capacity building, and market access. Initiative 3, Intensify Industrialization Program. We will continue to prioritize the development of a robust and efficient ecosystem for private investment with a strong focus on industrial parks development featuring modern infrastructure and comprehensive amenities. To support this, 58.2 million ringgit will be allocated under this budget. Under the projects are as follows: 1. Industrial Park in Kuching, Sibu, Lawas and Limbang. 2. Kuching High-Tech Park, Free Zone. 3. Industrial areas in Kapit, Bau and Subuyau. 4. Samalaju SME Cluster. And 5. Rantau Panjang Industrial Estate. We will undertake a comprehensive impact assessment study on industrial parks in Sarawak with an allocation of 2.65 million ringgit next year. This study will guide future planning and ensure that our industrial infrastructure delivers optimal value to the state growth agenda. Investment promotion programs. We are committed to attracting strategic investment in key sectors such as energy transition, petrochemicals, advanced manufacturing, tourism, and services. To strengthen our export capabilities, we will empower SMEs to become export-ready through targeted trade expos and facilitation program. In 2026, 6 million ringgit will be allocated to intensify trade and investment promotion efforts, encouraging greater participation from both foreign and domestic investors as well as SMEs in key sectors. Concurrently, a sum of 6 million ringgit will be allocated to Invest Sarawak to lead targeted trade and investment mission across domestic and international markets. To complement our investment promotion effort, an allocation of 21 million ringgit will be provided next year to support the operation of Sarawak Trade and Tourism offices in Singapore, Brunei, and soon Pontianak, Kalimantan. These offices will continue to serve as strategic gateways, enhancing Sarawak investment, outreach, and deepening our trade integration within the ASEAN region. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, now I go to our third strategic thrust, that is strategic thrust 3. Build high quality education and human capital. Initiative 1, free education for Sarawakian students. Beginning 2026, all Sarawakians who enroll in Sarawak-owned universities will receive free education under the Free Tertiary Education Scheme, FTS. FTES is a transformative initiative aimed at cultivating a future-ready workforce. It is designed to ensure that access to higher education is based on merit and capability, not constrained by financial circumstances. Following extensive consultation with our state-owned universities and Yayasan Sarawak, 64 undergraduate degree programs have been identified for inclusion under this scheme. For this purpose, 250 million ringgit will be made available for FTES in 2026. And this program, free education, is the first by a government in ASEAN region. Initiative 2, enhancing Sarawak education system and facilities. 1. Sarawak International School Development. I wish to draw the attention of this August House to a significant milestone in Sarawak's education landscape, which is the establishment of the Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. This initiative represents a major step forward in our education strategy, offering the Cambridge curriculum and aligning Sarawak's education system with international standards. To ensure the continued operation and effective administration of this institution, 36 million ringgit will be allocated next year. In addition, 13 million ringgit under alternative funding has been earmarked for preliminary works to expand Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School campuses to Bintulu and Miri, complementing the existing campuses in Kuching and Cebu. 2. Strengthening early childhood education. Recognizing the importance of nurturing talent from an early age, we will continue to strengthen the early childhood education sector through strategic investment aimed at expanding access and enhancing quality. To advance this effort, 22 million ringgit will be allocated next year to SEDIDEC for its operational and developmental needs. In addition, 14 million ringgit will be allocated under the annual special grant to support all registered early childhood institutions across Sarawak, thereby reinforcing their capacity to deliver inclusive and high-quality services. To further broaden access to quality early childhood education, 4 million ringgit will be set aside for Tadika and Taska fee subsidies, directly benefiting 4,000 children from households with a monthly income of 7,000 ringgit and below. 3. English as medium of instruction. Cambridge Standard Dual Language Program. The assessment for the Sarawak Dual Language Program was implemented in October this year as a key mechanism to evaluate teaching and learning outcomes in science, mathematics, and English. This initiative, which is in collaboration with Lembaga Peperiksaan and Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sarawak, is supported by international partners, including Swinburne Innovation Malaysia and Cambridge University Press and Assessment. The examination papers have undergone rigorous validation to ensure alignment with global standards, reinforcing the credibility of the program and preparing our students to thrive in a competitive, globalized educational landscape. Under this budget, 6 million ringgit will be provided for continued implementation of this initiative. Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, Initiative 3, Rebuilding and Rehabilitation of Dilapidated Schools. Ensuring safe and conducive learning environment for both teachers and students remains a top priority of my administration. While it may not be feasible to address all dilapidated schools, simultaneously, we remain unwavering in our commitment to systematically upgrade and rebuild educational facilities across the state. This commitment is further demonstrated through the provision of 1 billion ringgit by the Sarawak government as an advance payment on further loans. Administered under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Education Malaysia and implemented by JKR Sarawak, this strategic investment underscores our resolve to accelerate improvements in educational infrastructure. To date, 700 million ringgit of this sum has been disbursed to the federal government. Initiative 4, enabling equitable learning opportunities. 1. Sarawak Education Enhancement Program. The Sarawak Education Enhancement Program, or SEEP, stands as a strategic initiative dedicated to advancing the quality and equity of education across our state. A cornerstone of SEEP is the provision of complementary tuition for underperforming students in Form 3, 4, and 5, focusing on 8 critical SPM subjects, namely science, mathematics, history, English, biology, chemistry, additional mathematics, and physics. To further enhance learning outcomes, SEEP delivers customized teaching and learning resources developed by subject matter experts from the Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sarawak. This comprehensive effort benefits about 63,000 students across 185 secondary schools under the Ministry of Education Malaysia throughout Sarawak. SEEP will help to elevate the state SPM performance to match the national average within 5 years. Now, in its second year, the program continues to deliver targeted academic intervention. To ensure its continued success, we will continue and allocate 20 million ringgit next year, 2026. Free laptop and book voucher assistance. In order to promote equitable access to education, we will continue our 2 key initiatives aimed at supporting students from low-income backgrounds, ensuring that financial constraints do not hinder their ability to thrive in modern learning environment. First, the free laptop program, with an allocation of 30.5 million ringgit next year, will provide first-year diploma and degree students with essential digital tools to support online learning, academic research, and coursework. No other government gives this to the student. Complementing this, 2 million ringgit will be allocated under this budget for the book voucher program, enabling students to acquire textbooks and other critical academic materials necessary for their success. 3. Banyak kasih sama budak ni. Discount for PTP TN loans. The government will continue, the Sarawak government will also continue to subsidize PTPTN loan repayment for Sarawakian borrowers who have demonstrated responsible financial discipline by settling more than 30% of their total loan amount. This is fully funded by the Sarawak government and administered through Yayasan Sarawak. Sarawak is the only state in Malaysia that offers a state-funded PTPTN loan repayment discount program. To date, approximately 117 million ringgit has been disbursed, directly benefiting about 33,000 Sarawakian PTPTN borrowers. In 2026, 15 million will be allocated to sustain this meaningful financial assistance program. Special assistance to university students. 4. In our effort to promote educational equity and support student well-being, we will continue providing financial assistance to Sarawakian students enrolled in diploma and degree programs at recognized institutions of higher learning across Malaysia. For this purpose, an allocation of 60 million ringgit will be provided next year to help cover essential living expenses such as food and daily necessities. 5. Gaduan Pulang Sarawak IGPS initiative. This initiative, which was introduced in 2019, provides flight ticket subsidies to students studying in Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Labuan, enabling their return journeys home. Each eligible student may claim the subsidy twice annually, up to 300 ringgit per trip. Since its implementation till now, 35 million ringgit has been disbursed to subsidize around 117,000 return trips. To continue supporting this initiative, we will allocate an additional 8 million ringgit next year. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Initiative 5, Investing in Talent Development. 1. Sarawak Talent Development Policy. We will be introducing the Sarawak Talent Development Policy Blueprint, a landmark initiative that embodies our long-term commitment to nurturing, retaining, and attracting talent in Sarawak. Scheduled for completion in 2026, this comprehensive policy and blueprint is our strategic response to the evolving workforce demands of Sarawak's economy. We want to cultivate a technically skilled, agile, innovative, and future-ready workforce that will propel Sarawak's economic transformation and secure long-term sustainability. For the completion of this study, 1 million ringgit will be allocated next year. 2. Enhancing Sarawak workforce. In our pursuit of advancing Sarawak's strategic agenda to strengthen the capabilities of our workforce, the following initiative will continue to be implemented. 1. Skill enhancement program for graduates. To address graduate unemployment and ensure our young Sarawakians are equipped with the skills demanded by today's job market, we will continue with the implementation of the Graduate Enhancement Training Sarawak, that is GETS program. Under this initiative, participating graduates will receive a monthly allowance of 1,500 ringgit and be provided with training opportunities in both the public and private sectors, with a focus on soft skills, leadership development, and team building competencies. Under this budget, 20 million ringgit will be allocated next year, benefiting 1,000 graduates and empowering them to transition more effectively into the workforce. 2. Strengthening TVET for a future-ready workforce. To develop a technically skilled and industry-ready workforce, we are intensifying our current effort on technical and vocational education and training, TVET. Various key TVET initiatives will be continued to be implemented in Sarawak, which covers the following. A. Strengthening TVET ecosystem. To strengthen Sarawak TVET ecosystem, we will continue expanding our network of technical training institutions, including Sarawak Skills, ICATS University College, Centec campuses, and College Laila Taib. An allocation of 96.2 million ringgit will be provided to support their operational expenditure next year. In addition, 18 million ringgit will be committed for development initiative, including capital expenditure to Sarawak Skills, Advanced Automotive Training Center, and the upgrading of Sarawak Skill SAVTI, that is the Sarawak Agriculture Vocational Training Institute campus. B. Next Gen TVET. This program emphasizes industry-based learning and lifelong education, reinforcing TVET as a foundation for Sarawak's global competitiveness. A sum of 4.5 million ringgit will be provided next year for the implementation of Next Gen Digital and Innovation Talent Program for schools and Sarawak Digital and Innovation Talent Acceleration Program. C. Intensifying industry collaboration and partnership. Dato' Ahmad Speaker, we will continue to strengthen collaboration between the industry players and key economic sectors to ensure our workforce is equipped with industry-relevant skills. Sarawak TVET institutions such as Sarawak Skill and ICAT University College are working closely with partners in energy, engineering, agriculture, and digital technology to co-develop training programs that reflect real-world demands and evolving market needs. Our commitment to industry collaboration is further demonstrated through our active participation in World Skills Malaysia Sarawak 2025. This biennial competition now serves as a strategic platform to identify and nurture technical talent with industry partners directly involved in project design and performance evaluation. To further advance industry collaboration, Sarawak is strengthening its semiconductor ecosystem to global partnership led by SMD Semiconductor. Key initiatives including the following: AI-enabled power system developed with SEB, VTech, and compound semiconductor application counterpart to enhance energy efficiency and support renewable energy ambitions. B. A partnership with Silicon Catalyst to expand global market access for Sarawak-born technologies. C. Joint effort with CSAC on chiplet and heterogeneous integration, unlocking potential in AI, 5G, and autonomous system. D. Development of gallium nitride prototypes with Cambridge Microelectronics, XFAB, and CSAC, marking a milestone in energy-efficient power electronics. Under this budget, 18 million ringgit will be provided to SMD Semiconductor to accelerate Sarawak transformation into a national semiconductor hub. Tuan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, in total, a sum of 665 million ringgit will be provided for education and talent development initiative in 2026. This one is bigger than budget of 2 states in Peninsular Malaysia, only for education. Reflecting our continued resolve to transform Sarawak education sector for the advancement of our current and future generation. Tuan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, now I go to the Trust 4. Protect and sustainably manage natural resources for environmental sustainability. Initiative 1, Promoting Climate Change Initiative. My administration is fully committed in taking responsible action on climate change with the implementation of several key initiatives, namely the Climate Change Roadmap, the pursuit of net zero emission, the setting up of the Sarawak Climate Change Center, and the introduction of carbon levy. 1. Climate Change Roadmap. The Sarawak Climate Change Roadmap sets the direction for our transition to a low carbon and climate resilient economy. The roadmap builds on the environment, that is the Reduction and Greenhouse Gases Emission Ordinance 2023, which gives Sarawak the legal authority to regulate and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The roadmap also supports the implementation of the Sarawak Greenhouse Gas Management System, GSGMS, a digital platform that will track emission across sectors and help industries comply with emission requirements. Through this initiative, Sarawak aims to achieve better coordination in climate policy implementation, stronger capacity to manage carbon emission, and wider adoption of sustainable practices across industries. For 2026, 3.4 million ringgit will be set aside to strengthen institutional readiness and accelerate our efforts toward measurable emission reduction and environmental sustainability. 2. Net zero emission. Our long-term goal is to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2050 through the Sarawak Net Zero Strategy and Carbon Plan. The focus is on clean energy transition, low carbon industries, and sustainable forest management to ensure balanced and responsible growth. To support this effort, the Flaring and Venting Rules 2025 were enacted to regulate greenhouse gas emission from the oil and gas sector, reinforcing Sarawak's commitment to zero routine flaring by 2030. For 2026, 7 million ringgit will be allocated to implement the following. 1. Sarawak Net Zero Strategy and Carbon Plan. 2. Study on carbon levy and carbon pricing of Sarawak. 3. Sarawak Energy Transition Policy Implementation Program. And 4. Quantifying forest carbon stock in Sarawak. 3. Climate Change Center. The Sarawak Climate Change Center will be established as the central hub for coordinating and monitoring climate action across the state. The center will focus on policy integration, research and data management to support evidence-based decision-making and strengthen Sarawak's capacity in climate governance. It will also serve as a platform for collaboration with industries, academia, and international partners to promote innovation, build technical expertise, and enhance public awareness towards achieving low carbon and climate resilient Sarawak. Tuan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, 4. Carbon levy. Building on the environmental, that is the Reduction of Greenhouse Gases Ordinance 2023, we will introduce a carbon levy on the oil and gas and energy sectors starting in 2026. As Sarawak advances toward net zero emission by 2050, carbon pricing becomes a crucial policy instrument, internalizing environmental and social costs, reducing emission in high-emitting sectors, accelerating the green economy transition, and ensuring a just and equitable transition for workers and communities. The levy will apply to emissions generated within Sarawak by regulated facilities in the oil and gas and energy sectors. Revenue collected from this levy will be channeled into a dedicated climate change fund, supporting renewable energy deployment, energy efficiency initiative, grid modernization, forest conservation, and climate resilient projects that will benefit communities across Sarawak. Sarawak stands ready to work closely with the federal government to ensure Malaysia's future national carbon tax and carbon pricing architecture are harmonized. With our ordinance already in force, established measurement, reporting, and verification system, advanced modeling, and detailed policy designs underway, Sarawak is well positioned to support and lead Malaysia's overall decarbonization efforts, nationally determined contribution achievement, and the development of a strong domestic carbon market. Therefore, the carbon levy is also poised to become a future revenue source for Sarawak. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Initiative 2, Intensifying Environmental Sustainability. We will continue to strengthen our commitment to conserve and sustainably manage the environment. Efforts are focused on protecting natural ecosystem, restoring degraded landscape, and promoting responsible use of resources to ensure long-term ecological balance and social well-being. 1. Sustainable environmental management. The Sustainable Environmental Management Framework builds on the Sarawak's Sustainability Blueprint 2030 that promotes responsible use of natural resources, cleaner energy, biodiversity conservation, and pollution control. In line with this, a total sum of 30.73 million ringgit will be allocated in 2026 to strengthen the environmental governance and promote sustainable industries, and among the projects are 1. Bio-Industrial Park and Sarawak Biodiversity Center Bioprocessors Commercial Center in Samarahan with an allocation of 10 million ringgit. 2. Sarawak first GMP certified facility for manufacturing nutraceutical products from Sarawak Biological Resources with an allocation of 6 million ringgit. 3. Development of Sustainable Forest Management Center in Lobak Kara, Kuching, with an allocation of 3 million ringgit. 4. Environmental programs by Natural Resources Environmental Board and REB with an allocation of 6.2 million ringgit. And 5. strengthening forest enforcement to advancing the technology and equipment with an allocation of 1.4 million ringgit. 2. Forest Landscape Restoration Program. The Forest Landscape Restoration Program focuses on restoring degraded forests, enhancing biodiversity and boosting carbon capture. In 2026, 2.4 million ringgit will be allocated to scale up restoration effort, expand nurseries, and encourage community and private sector involvement. 3. Totally protected area and wildlife protection and management. The protection of wildlife and biodiversity remains a key priority under Sarawak Conservation Agenda. In 2026, 4.8 million ringgit will be allocated to strengthen the management of totally protected areas, including upgrading facilities and enhancing conservation effort at priority sites. To ensure these conservation efforts are carried out effectively on the ground, the Sarawak Forestry Corporation will continue to lead operational, enforcement, and wildlife management activities across the state. In support of this function, a sum of 62 million ringgit will be allocated for its operation in 2026. Environmental conservation. 4. Environmental conservation remains one of our priority areas as we continue to protect our natural landscape and unique geological asset. The Sarawak's Delta journey toward UNESCO Global Geopark status reached a major milestone with its Green Card recognition in June 2025. To continue this effort, 2.13 million ringgit will be allocated in 2026, comprising the following: 1. 1.4 million ringgit for Sarawak Delta Geopark programs and 790,000 for wetland and watershed conservation within the heart of Borneo. In addition, to strengthen environmental research, forest protection and biodiversity conservation, 6.2 million ringgit will be allocated through several key initiatives such as: 1. Development of an urban forest park at Kayanagaran Forest Reserve in Lawas, and 2. Artificial intelligence and forensic timber identification for forest protection and revenue generation, and 3. Upgrading of Forest Research Center and Sarawak Forest Research Project, and 4. Research of intensified management of bio-rich areas of Sarawak. Tan Sri Tawar Mas Speaker, now I come to thrust number 5. Bridge development gap and drive rural economic growth. We will continue to accelerate rural development and intensify the implementation of infrastructure projects to bridge the development gap between urban and rural areas as well as between regions. Initiative 1, strengthening regional economic development, enhancing urban-rural economic integration. In our effort to narrow the urban-rural development gap, our 2026 budget will continue to be rural biased. Of the 9.3 billion ringgit proposed for development expenditure, 6.1 billion ringgit or 66% will be dedicated to rural development initiative. This strategic allocation reaffirms our unwavering commitment to reach every corner of Sarawak, ensuring no one is left behind in our journey towards shared prosperity, the core policy of GPS government. In this regard, we will continue to provide allocation to fund the following initiative. 1. 350 million ringgit for Google Transformation Projects RTP. 2. 315 million ringgit for regional development agencies. 3. 267 million for program project HUS, and 400 million for the implementation of Project Rakyat. 2. Improving land connectivity. Providing better land connectivity means better access to healthcare, education, and markets. Enhance connectivity support agriculture, tourism, and small businesses in rural areas. Thus, promote rural economy. In 2026, a sum of 1.05 billion ringgit will be set aside for construction of roads and bridges throughout the state, which include, among others, the following projects. 1. Upgrading of Jalan Musi Buso Bau. 2. Upgrading of Jalan Tekuk Pasai Seong, Jalan Kemunyang Sibu. 3. Serian Gedong Samarahan Dual Carriageway Highway. 4. Jalan Bawang Asan, Tanjung Manis, Sungai Ilas, Kampung Sabena, daerah Meradong, Serike. 5. Jalan menuju ke Rumah Panjang Nicholas Anak Sandom, Sungai Sigu, Pandan, Sebau, Bintulu. 6. Road at Kampung Medong, Seberang, Kampung Kekan, Seberang, Mukah. Nah. 7. Sungai Limbang Bridge, Sungai Bunut No. 2 Bridge and Connecting Roads Limbang. 8. Google Bridges Transformation Program. And 9. Construction and completion of proposed Jalan Sungai Pasin, Matu, Mukah. Under alternative funding, 3.22 billion ringgit will be provided next year to fund the ongoing major road infrastructure projects such as 1. Sarawak Coastal Road, 2. Sarawak Second Trunk Road, 3. Northern Coastal Highway, 4. Sultan Tengah Road and New Santubong Bridge, and 5. Various infrastructure projects under Rekoda. 3. Enhancing air connectivity. We will strengthen Sarawak's aviation links, supporting both passenger and freight movement, and open new pathways for tourism, trade and regional collaboration. Therefore, under this budget, fund will be allocated next year for the following projects. 51 million ringgit for Bibuling Airport, 6 million ringgit for site verification, feasibility study and integrated master plan for proposed development of new Kuching International Airport, and 1 million for study on international air connectivity into Sarawak. 4. Strengthening port sector. To support Sarawak expanding trade, logistic and regional integration, this budget will prioritize the development of a resilient and future-ready port sector. Our investment will focus in ensuring that every part of Sarawak benefits from improved connectivity and economic access. Key components under this initiative include port infrastructure, navigational safety enhancement, riverine infrastructure development, and digital port operations. Under this budget, a sum of 118.1 million will be provided next year to implement various initiatives such as 1. Vessel tracking management system and aids to navigation for Sungai Miri and Kuala Baram, Sarawak. 2. Relocation of Tanjung Kidorong Lighthouse to Tanjung Likau, Bintulu. 3. Vehicle yard and associated facilities at Senari Port. 4. Port development and maintenance dredging grants to state port authorities. 5. Master plan study for ports. And 6. Construction of wharves, jetties, river wall and waterfront. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Initiative 2, expanding access to quality public services and basic public amenities. 1. Expanding water supply coverage. Sarawak achieved an overall water supply coverage of 86% with full access in urban areas and 70% in rural regions. With this achievement, our focus now shifts to expanding water supply coverage to rural areas. Guided by the Sarawak Water Supply Master Plan, initiatives like the water supply grid and SAWAS are critical to reach even the most remote households, especially where grid extension is not feasible. To advance this effort, 409 million ringgit will be allocated next year for the implementation of various projects to ensure an efficient, secure, and sustainable water supply to meet this objective. The project, among others, are as follows. 1. Inklili Regional Water Treatment Plant Sri Aman. 2. Upgrading of Treatment Plant Salim Sibu. 3. Serian Regional Water Supply Phase 2. 4. Upgrading of Treatment Plant Number 4 Batu Kitang. 5. Muka Water Treatment Plant. 6. Pipeline for Darul Hana Program. And 7. Lundu Sematan Regional Water Supply Kuching. In addition, 402 million ringgit will be provided under alternative funding to implement Sarawak Water Supply Grid Program for stressed areas and upgrading and replacement of water pipelines program. We welcome the participation of private sector in the implementation of water supply initiative. Through strategic partnership, private investors with the requisite expertise and innovative technological solution can collaborate with local partners to finance, build and operate water supply system to remote villages or longhouses across Sarawak or for non-revenue water reduction. 2. Free water program. Introduced in January 2020, my administration subsidizes the first 5 ringgit of the monthly domestic water bill to reduce the financial burden of the rakyat. The program will continue in 2026 with approximately 21 million to be borne by the Sarawak government to fund the subsidy. 3. Accelerating rural electrification. We remain committed to achieving full electricity coverage across the state. Currently, urban areas enjoy complete access to electricity, while rural coverage stands at an impressive 98.6%. Under this budget, 46 million will be allocated next year to implement rural electricity supply projects such as 1. Additional and late application fund allowed. 2. Connect standalone Sarawak Alternative Rural Electrification Scheme (SARES) villages or longhouses to nearby grid with road access. 3. Replacement of batteries and key components for standalone solar system. And 4. Upgrading of electricity supply in Samarahan Division. This effort is further intensified to a provision of 153 million under the alternative funding next year to implement the rural electrification program. 4. Government financial assistance for connecting charges. Introduced in January 2020, the connection charges government financial assistance aims to assist and ease the financial burden of low-income urban households for access to basic utility needs. This program will continue in 2026 with an allocation of 12 million ringgit. Tuan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, Initiative 3, Strengthening Public Transportation System. In 2026, under the Alternative Funding Initiative, my administration will allocate a capital expenditure budget of 1 billion ringgit to continue with the construction of autonomous rapid transit (RRT) infrastructure system. Phase 1 of the Kuching Urban Transportation System (KTS), including ART station and the Blue Line Package 1 route from Rambus to Rivaria, is scheduled to begin operation in the fourth quarter of 2026. Construction on Blue Line Package 2 from Stutong to Hikmah Exchange and the Red Line is ongoing, while works on the Green Line are expected to start in the second quarter of 2026. Additionally, a sum of 90 million ringgit will be allocated under Sarawak Metro for its operation and maintenance. Efforts to enhance Sarawak conventional public transport system will continue in 2026 with an allocation of 16.8 million ringgit to support key initiatives. This includes the implementation of smart buses in Miri City, the rollout of a new stage bus service in Cebu, ongoing operational subsidies for stage bus services, and the construction of a new bus terminal in Kapit. These projects aim to improve accessibility, reliability, and overall public mobility across urban and semi-urban areas. Tuan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, now I come to Trust 6, Safeguard the Rakyat's Livelihood. Initiative 1, Strengthening Social Safety Net. In our commitment to strengthening social services and enhancing social protection for every Sarawakian, we will continue to provide targeted assistance as follows. 1. Assistance to mothers and children. Every child deserves a strong start in life, and every mother deserves support. That is why we, as a caring GPS government, are continuing the Endowment Fund Sarawak with 20 million ringgit allocated next year to help every newborn to begin life with a financial foundation. Additionally, the Bantuan Ibu Bersalin program will receive 5 million ringgit to ease the burden on mothers during childbirth. We are equally committed to support children with special needs. the One-Stop Early Intervention Center, OCEIC, offers therapy, assessments, and parental support in a nurturing environment. In 2026, we will provide 3.9 million ringgit to strengthen OSEIC services in Kuching, Dalat, and Miri. 2. Welfare aids and financial assistance. In 2026, a total of 55.8 million ringgit will be allocated to continue with key programs under our social protection framework. These include bantuan AM, bantuan belia wanis, bantuan kanak-kanak, bantuan OKU tidak berupaya bekerja, and bantuan bencana. Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, sumbangan Keperluan Asas Sarawak. Last year, I had the honor of announcing the launch of the Sumbangan Keperluan Asas Sarawak, SKAS initiative, an effort rooted in compassion and designed to uplift our people through targeted financial assistance. This year, SKAS was successfully implemented, providing annual support ranging from 250 ringgit to 800 ringgit to eligible Sarawakians, with an allocation of 557 million ringgit, benefiting over 1.03 million eligible Sarawakians. Today, I am pleased to announce that we, the GPS government, will be increasing the amount of this assistance to better reflect the needs of our rakyat and help them to mitigate cost of living. This is to ensure that they will always have food on the table. Therefore, the revised assistance will be disbursed once in every 4 months as follows. 1. Households with income of 5,000 ringgit and below will see their annual support increase by 150 ringgit from 800 to 950 ringgit. For each disbursement, recipient will receive 316 ringgit. 2. Senior citizen without partners or children earning 5,000 and below will receive an increase of 100 ringgit from 400 ringgit to 500 ringgit. For each disbursement, recipient single will receive 166 ringgit. And 3. Single individuals with income of 2,500 and below will benefit from an increase of 50 ringgit, raising their assistance from 250 to 300. And for each disbursement, recipient will receive 100 ringgit. With this increase, we are allocating 640 million ringgit under the 2026 budget. And we anticipate that more than 1 million recipients will benefit from this expanded support. This is the GPS government in action, listening, responding, and delivering. We are not just managing budgets, we are improving lives. Let us continue to build a Sarawak where no one is left behind and every citizen feels the care of a government that truly serves. 4. Health assistance for vulnerable groups. The well-being of our vulnerable communities remain a central pillar of the Sarawak government social agenda. In 2026, we will continue to implement targeted health assistance programs that reflect our compassion and responsibility toward those most in need. The Senior Citizen Health Benefit, launched in August 2024, provides cashless outpatient treatment at panel clinics for those with household income of 7,000 ringgit and below, up to 500 ringgit per person annually. An allocation of 50 million ringgit in 2026 will benefit 100,000 senior citizens across Sarawak. The death compassionate assistance for Kanyalang Gold Card holders will be extended, with 1,800 allocated to support bereaved families and ease funeral expenses. For this purpose, a sum of 10 million ringgit will be allocated under the 2026 budget. Additionally, an allocation of 4 million ringgit for bantuan khas pesakit buah pinggang. Banyak orang sakit pinggang. Bantuan khas pesakit buah pinggang. I don't know kenapa pinggang sakit. Will be provided next year, ensuring patients receive timely treatment and easing the burden of dialysis for those with end-stage kidney failure. 5. Social support infrastructure. As a responsible and caring government, we are also expanding the social support infrastructure to better serve those in need, especially individuals and families facing hardship, recovery, or special challenges. In 2026, allocation will be set aside for the establishment of care infrastructure as follows: 3 million ringgit for establishment of the Special Needs Community Center, 1 million for establishment and operation of community social support centers in Kuching, Seri Aman, Sibu, Bintulu, Lawas, and Muka, and 600,000 ringgit for establishment of temporary shelters for low-income recovery community in Sibu and Bintulu. Initiative 2, strengthening livelihoods through job creation and income growth. We remain also committed to empowering vulnerable communities through inclusive economic initiative. Across Sarawak, many women, household heads, persons with disabilities, single mothers, and low-income families possess the determination to improve their livelihood. We believe with the right support, they can transform their potential into progress in their lives. Therefore, in 2026, we will allocate 2.6 million ringgit for the continued implementation of Women and Family Development Program covering Bantuan Ketua Isi Rumah Wanita Sarawak, skills training, empowerment initiative, and family support. And 2.5 million ringgit for Usahawan Micro Kebajikan Program, which provides training, capital, and market access to 335 micro entrepreneurs from the B40 group, including persons with disabilities, single mothers, and widows. 600,000 for low-income family empowerment program, supporting 120 families in small business ventures, and 600,000 to support non-governmental organizations in delivering community-based social intervention. Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, Initiative 3, Empowering Home Ownership for Sarawakian. One affordable housing project. In ensuring access to affordable housing for the low-income B40 group, a sum of 121 million ringgit will be allocated to Housing Development Corporation next year for the implementation of 11 housing development projects comprising 1,547 units of affordable housing across Kuching, Betong, Sibu, Mukah, Bintulu, Miri, and Limbang. Complementing this, 20 million ringgit will be allocated to Mutiara Mortgage and Credit Sdn Bhd to support home financing for B40 and M40 groups, ensuring broader access to affordable housing alongside the ongoing housing development projects. As of September 2025, 83 million ringgit has been successfully disbursed to 1,371 eligible home buyers. 2. Long House Loan Scheme. In our continued effort to improve the quality of life for rural communities, we will continue implementing the Long House Loan Scheme, offering interest-free loans in the form of building materials and hardware. Under this scheme, 30,000 ringgit per door is provided for refurbishment and 50,000 ringgit per door for new construction. From 2022 to September 2025, 313 million ringgit has been disbursed, benefiting 391 long houses, encompassing a total of 8,033 doors across Sarawak. My administration will provide an annual allocation of 50 million ringgit to implement this scheme, ensuring eligible long houses can access the support they need for safe and dignified housing. Sarawak Rental Assistance Scheme 3. Introduced in 2021, the Sarawak Rental Assistance Scheme was designed to ease the rental burden for low-income households in major districts such as Kuching, Samarahan, Sibu, Bintulu, and Miri. Eligible households earning 4,556 ringgit or below receive 200 ringgit per month for up to 36 months. With an allocation of 48 million ringgit, the scheme is expected to benefit 20,000 households. In 2024, coverage was expanded to include students in higher learning institutions, and in 2025, extended to civil service tenants residing in government quarters. As of September of 2025, a total of 6,457 applications has been approved, involving a sum of 31.4 million ringgit. 4. Resettlement Scheme and Village Extension Scheme. The implementation of the Resettlement Scheme SPS and Village Extension Scheme SPK will be continued in 2026. With a budget of 224 million ringgit, this scheme will secure residential lots for eligible households from low and middle income families, helping them to build safe and comfortable homes. The projects that will be implemented throughout the state, among others, as follows: SPK Gedong, SPK Beliung Asajaya, SPK Sambir Samarahan, SPK Semariang, SPK No Islam Kuala Lawas, SPK Tukau Parabena Miri, SPS Limbang, and SPS Balangian Mukah. 5. Urban Renewal Project. we will continue to advance our urban renewal and kampong redevelopment initiative aimed at revitalizing aging settlement and enhancing community infrastructure. To support this effort, a total allocation of 247 million has been earmarked for the implementation of kampong redevelopment projects in Kuching, Sibu, Bintulu, and Limbang in 2026 to be undertaken by LCDA. Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, now Trust 7, Culture, Sport and Youth Development. Initiative 1, Promoting Sports Development. Sarawak aspires to become a regional leader in sport excellence, leveraging sport as a catalyst for unity, youth empowerment and economic growth. Sarawak sports development is spearheaded by the Sarawak Sport Corporation and Majlis Sokan Negeri Sarawak. Several key initiatives will continue next year to transform Sarawak to become a sport powerhouse in Malaysia by 2030, including one, Suksa. Suksa is Sokan Sarawak, a state-level multi-sport event to identify and nurture young talent, serving as a feeder for national competition such as Sukma. 2. Sarawak X-Type Program, a flagship initiative by the Sarawak government to build a healthier, more active and socially cohesive society through youth-focused sports and cultural engagement. It serves as a grassroots platform to uncover and develop sporting potential across communities. And 3, international sport event hosting. Strategic collaboration with global sport bodies to bring world-class exposure to local athletes. Through global partnership, Sarawak will co-host the SEA Games in 2027 and lead the return of Borneo Games in 2025 to strengthen our role in international and regional sport. To support this effort, we will allocate a total sum of 117 million ringgit to Ministry of Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, which include 73 million to Sarawak Sport Corporation and Majlis Sokan Negeri Sarawak for their operation and continuous youth and sport development programs. Initiative 2, Enhancing Sport Facilities. The upgrading and expansion of sport complexes and facilities will be carried out as part of the state's long-term strategy to strengthen readiness for future national and regional sporting events. As Sarawak is set to co-host the SEA Games in 2027, the preparation and upgrading of sport venues and facilities will commence in 2026. A total of 11 sport facilities has been designated as official venues for the 2027 SEA Games, which include Sarawak Stadium, Stadium Perpaduan, Lawn Bowl Centre, Sarawak Cricket Ground, Squash Centre, Shooting Range, Wushu Trading Centre, Pandalela Rinong Aquatic Centre, and Archery Range. For this purpose, 107 million ringgit will be provided next year. In addition, 54 million ringgit will be committed for the construction enhancement of other sport complexes and facilities throughout the state. Initiative 3, Promoting Youth and Entrepreneur Development Program. We have embarked on the Sarawak Youth Index 2.0, a comprehensive study designed to assess the well-being, quality of life, and overall development of our youth. Its primary aim is to provide reliable empirical data on the current state of Sarawak youth, serving as a strategic foundation for crafting policies and programs that are more focused, inclusive, and impactful, and education of 1.5 million ringgit will be made available for this study next year. Complementing this effort, 1 million will be allocated next year for Sarawak Youth Creative Industry Fund to empower young talents in film, music, performing arts, digital media, and heritage crafts. This initiative nurtures creative entrepreneurship and equips youth with the digital adaptive skill needed for a resilient economy. To empower Sarawak youth and drive inclusive digital growth, 2.34 million ringgit will be provided for entrepreneurship development program next year to implement several key initiatives including Youth Technopreneur 2026, Sarawak Youth Startup Program, Youth Entrepreneur Setup, and Belia Go Business. That is Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker. Now, Trust 8, spur research and development, science and technology innovation. Allow me to speak on matter of strategic importance to Sarawak. Our mission to transition Sarawak from a resource-based economy to a technology-driven economy and society as envisioned under PCDS 2030. Since the launch of our pioneering Sarawak Digital Economy Strategy 2018-2022 and the subsequent Sarawak Digital Economy Blueprint 2030, we have made significant and commendable progress in our digital transformation journey. However, to fully realize this ambitious goal, we must now accelerate our efforts, particularly in the areas of research, development and innovation. Let me outline a suite of strategic initiatives that will empower Sarawak to lead in science, technology and innovation. Initiative 1, Digital Infrastructure Expansion. Digital economy is a necessity, no longer a luxury. It is the foundation upon which we build inclusive prosperity, resilient communities, and globally competitive industries. To this end, Sarawak has made bold and strategic investment in digital infrastructure and ecosystem, expanding connectivity across Sarawak under the Sarawak Linking Urban Google and Nation Saluran, Sarawak Google Broadband Network MySRBN initiative. We have completed Phase 1 at a cost of 24 million ringgit. Meanwhile, Phase 2 is progressing well and will further extend coverage to underserved communities. Through collaboration with the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission under Jendela Phase 2, we are accelerating 4G and 5G network coverage, particularly in areas with challenging terrain and scattered settlement. The Smart 600 project aims at enhancing digital connectivity across more than 1,000 Google locations. It involves the construction of 600 new communication towers, benefiting approximately 180,000 residents in areas such as Marudi in Miri and Belaga, Sungai Belawai and Sungai Enceremin in Kapit. As of July 2025, 587 towers have been completed, of which 431 towers are already activated using multi-operator core network technology, while the remaining towers will be commissioned in stages. For 2026, we will allocate 450 million under alternative funding to support the continued implementation of the Smart Tower projects and MySRBN initiative. In addition, 27 million will be provided to Sarawak Multimedia Authority SMA under this budget to support its operational needs and strategic function. We will continue to allocate 20 million ringgit next year to Sarawak Digital Economy Corporation to subsidize broadband charges for rural communities. This funding will ease the financial burden for households benefiting from my SRBN initiative, which provide high-speed internet access through fixed wireless technology. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, Initiative 2, Growing Digitalization. Digital transformation remains central to improving public service delivery in Sarawak. The launch of Sarawak Pass, powered by Sarawak ID, at IDEX 2025 marks a major milestone in this journey. Sarawak Pass provides a unified and secure digital identity that connects citizens and businesses seamlessly to government and private sector services. Under the 13 Malaysia Plan, we are accelerating the rollout of digital services in land management, social services, and business facilitation through platforms such as e-Zone and the integrated social platform. This initiative enhances efficiency, accuracy, and inclusivity, ensuring that assistance and services reach those who need them most. 1. Cybersecurity. As Sarawak advances its digital transformation, cybersecurity is a top priority. SMA is developing the State Cybersecurity Strategy and Roadmap 2030. This strategy will strengthen cyber resilience, safeguard our digital infrastructure and citizen data, and ensure that innovation is secure and trusted. It also envisions the establishment of a dedicated entity to coordinate cybersecurity efforts across government and industry. 2. Data governance. Equally important is data governance. Data is now the key driver of progress, and SMA is formulating the Sarawak Data Governance Framework and Roadmap to ensure that data is properly managed, protected, and utilized responsibly. This will transform data into a strategic asset to enhance decision-making, improve service delivery, and unlock value for our economy, while upholding the highest standard of privacy and accountability. Initiative 3, Investing in Sarawak's AI Future. In 2025, my administration launched the Sarawak Artificial Intelligence Centre, SAIC, a strategic initiative to position Sarawak as a leader in technology-driven innovation. SAIC will advance AI technologies across key sectors, including healthcare, agriculture, education, and manufacturing. By fostering public-private partnership and collaborating with local and international partners, the Centre aims to boost productivity and create high-value jobs, driving Sarawak towards a smart, innovation-led economy. In 2026, 5 million ringgit will be allocated to SAIC for its operation and carry out its strategic function. Initiative 4, Promoting Digital Business Environment. Our journey towards a fully digital and inclusive Sarawak continues to make significant progress. The government-owned SP Global Platform has grown into a trusted digital payment ecosystem, now serving 1.6 million users, 95,000 merchants, and facilitating over 5.5 billion ringgit in transactions since its launch. Through SP Global, the government has successfully channeled various forms of assistance such as SKAS, Bantuan Komputer Riba Percuma, and Voucher Buku Percuma directly to eligible recipients across Sarawak, Peninsular Malaysia, and even abroad. Linked to each individual Sarawak's ID, these transactions are secure, instant, and accountable, ensuring public funds are used responsibly. With integration via Do It Now and Union Pay, Sarawak Pay Global now operates across Malaysia and internationally. Moving forward, it will evolve into a comprehensive digital banking platform focused on serving anak Sarawak, empowering them to save, transact, and invest seamlessly, anytime and anywhere. Under this budget, an allocation of 20 million will be provided to SP Global next year to support its continued implementation and expansion as Sarawak's flagship digital payment and financial inclusion platform. Initiative 5, promoting invention innovation, shaping the future of Sarawak semiconductor. In 2025, Sarawak made bold strides towards becoming a regional semiconductor hub with the launch of Sarawak Semiconductor Roadmap 2030 and transformative projects such as the Ketiga AI Power Converter and the Ketiga platform. This milestone reflect our commitment to high-performance, energy-efficient technologies and global innovation leadership. Moving forward, we will continue to build on this foundation by investing in the following. 1. The creation of 3 new intellectual property assets. 2. Producing Sarawak first gallium nitride high electron mobility transistor chip, a cutting-edge semiconductor device known for high speed and high efficiency performance. And this is something first in the world. Number 3, planning for the establishment of AI chip integration center. This effort, in partnership with global leaders like Compound Semiconductor Application Counterpart UK, XFAB, and Rebellions Incorporated South Korea, aims at positioning Sarawak as the silicon nerve of Asia. By nurturing homegrown breakthrough, strengthening research partnership, and gradually building technical capacity, we aim to build long-term economic resilience and achieve Sarawak's broader aspiration in the development of advanced technology. 2. Research and development and innovation for sustainable growth. We will continue to invest in high-impact research and development that supports science, technology, and innovation with strong potential for commercialization. Through the Sarawak Research and Development Council, to date, we have invested 18.3 million ringgit in 80 research projects across biotechnology, renewable energy, and green industrialization. To further support this initiative, 4 million ringgit will be spent on research projects next year. For 2026, we will allocate 50 million ringgit to continue the construction of Sarawak Infectious Disease Center and 22 million ringgit for its operation. Meanwhile, the Sarawak Science Center, 48 million ringgit will be provided for its completion and another 8 million ringgit for its operation. A further sum of 11 million will be provided to support various disease and research programs. Dato' Mas Speaker, we will also provide allocation for other R&D initiatives as follows. 1. 36 million to Sarawak Biodiversity Center for its operation and ongoing R&D initiative. 2. 26.6 million to Crown Research for its operation and ongoing research. 3. 5 million ringgit to SEGO and NIPA Development Board. And 4. 4.4 million to Sarawak Tropical Peat Research Institute. Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, Trust 9. strengthening government capacity and public service delivery. Initiative 1 under this, enhancing government capacity and capability. 1. Continuous upskilling and reskilling of government civil service. Sarawak civil service must be equipped with the right skill, knowledge and mindset to deliver quality public service and implement the government development agenda effectively. To further strengthen the capacity of our officers at all levels, my administration will continue to provide allocation for training and talent development. In 2026, a sum of 48.5 million ringgit will be allocated for this purpose, which includes 1. Technical skill development that focuses on strengthening functional and job-related competencies in specialized areas. 2. In-service training, which provides officers with opportunities to pursue formal studies and professional qualification to strengthen their competencies. 3. Leadership and executive development programs for senior and emerging leaders to build their strategic thinking, leadership capability, and high-level management skill. New scheme of service. 2. In line with the federal government decision to implement the system Saran Perkhidmatan Awam, SSPA, the state adopted the new pay structure last year, with the first 8% salary increase taking effect early this year, involving a total sum of 67 million ringgit. For 2026, a further 7% increase will be implemented with an allocation of 56 million ringgit. This revised salary scheme is intended to ease the financial pressures faced by officers and help them manage the rising cost of living. 3. Building healthy workplaces. Building a healthy workplace is important to keep our officers motivated and able to do their best. For 2026, 1.26 million ringgit will be provided to support programs that improve overall well-being and work-life balance, as well as studies to guide future policies such as hybrid work arrangement, special needs support, and back-to-work initiative. 4. Restructuring of department agencies. And this is important, as I promised, to elaborate on this particular subject. Growing expectation from the Rakyat require us to keep improving the way we work and the services we provide. To support this, we are restructuring department agency to remove overlap and streamline function, giving greater clarity and accountability across the system. This approach will help us build a leaner and more agile government that focuses on its core responsibilities, cuts unnecessary bureaucracy, and delivers faster and better results to our people. The emphasis is on doing the right things with the right people, ensuring every organization plays its role effectively in advancing PCDS 2030. Revision of incentive structure for councillors. To support our councillors in their expanding responsibility towards improving service delivery at the local level, we have undertaken a review of the remuneration and benefit accorded to 864 councillors serving in 27 local authorities across Sarawak. Following this review, I am pleased to unveil the following. Special fixed monthly allowance. The special fixed monthly allowance for all councillors will be increased from 300 ringgit to 1,000 ringgit. This adjustment will be applied uniformly across all 27 local authorities. A. B. Additional medical benefit. In addition to the existing entitlement to medical treatment at government facilities, councillors will now be provided with a medical benefit of 1,000 ringgit per year for basic treatment at private hospitals or clinics recognized by the government. The new rates of allowance and medical benefit will involve a total additional financial implication of 8.1 million ringgit per year and will be implemented with effect from 1st January 2026. To the councillors, with this increase, I hope they will perform and deliver their duties effectively to the rakyat. 4. Adjustment of remuneration for community leaders. Ini penghulu pula. Dia ketua masyarakat and ketua kaum KMKK form the backbone of Sarawak grassroots governance, and this has been there since the colonial government. With over 7,700 appointed leaders, including Temenggung, Pemancar, Penghulu, and Ketua Kaum, they play a vital role in bridging the government and the rakyat. They are entrusted with maintaining social harmony, resolving local disputes, and supporting the implementation of government policies at the community level. The last adjustment to their remuneration was made in 2018 with an increase of 100 ringgit. Since then, the cost of living has continued to rise and the cost of responsibilities borne by KMKK has expanded significantly. In recognition of their service and evolving responsibilities, I am pleased to announce an increase of 400 ringgit in monthly remuneration for KMKK, involving an additional allocation of 37 million ringgit annually with effect from 1st January 2026. Initiative 2, strengthening institutional support for Sarawak civil service. Recognizing the critical role of civil servants in delivering public services, we will continue our effort to improve access to quality housing. In 2026, 300 million ringgit will be allocated to begin construction of new housing and related facilities in various districts in Sarawak. This initiative reflects our dedication to improving living standards and strengthening institutional support for those who serve the state. Initiative 3, accelerating digital government transformation. To strengthen the ease of doing business, we are now moving towards smarter and more connected service delivery. This includes simplifying processes, improving coordination across agencies, and using data, automation, and platform to deliver services in a faster and more seamless way. For this purpose, 27 million ringgit will be allocated to develop and upgrade ICT projects, while 299 million ringgit will be provided for system maintenance to ensure reliable and secure digital services in 2026. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, Sarawak Public Financial Transformation Program. As I have mentioned publicly on several occasions, we are currently undertaking two major reform initiatives, namely the transformation of state-owned enterprises and result-based budgeting. We remain committed to strengthening our public financial management to ensure efficient and impactful utilization of our resources. For 2026, 17.4 million will be allocated for the continuation of these two reform initiatives. I would like now to elaborate more on this initiative. 1. State-owned enterprises SOEs transformation program. State ownership policy. The government state ownership policy is a major, first of its kind reform in Malaysia, designed to transform the governance and performance of its SOEs. The policy aims to establish the state as an active, professional, and accountable shareholder, adapting to international best practices, and is being developed in partnership with the World Bank. This policy represents a major shift in how Sarawak manages and governs its SOEs. Under this policy, each SOE will operate with a clear and defined mandate, be it strategic, developmental, commercial, or hybrid, while fostering a performance-driven culture focused on delivering tangible outcomes for the people of Sarawak. Why are we introducing this policy? First, we want to bring greater clarity to the ownership and purpose of our SOEs. It ensures a clear separation between policy making, ownership, and regulatory function. Second, we want to eliminate fragmentation and duplication across entities that serve similar functions. It allows us to streamline operation, consolidate assets, enhance board professionalism, and improve performance monitoring, driving efficiency and value creation. Third, we want to reduce dependency on state funding and build financially resilient enterprises. Fourth, we want to have centralized ownership that enables closer coordination between SOEs oversight and state overall budgeting process. This ensures better alignment of dividends, reinvestment strategies, and fiscal priorities. Above all, we want our SOEs to be managed professionally, transparently, and with the highest standard of government and integrity. And this will be done by most countries, especially the success of our neighbor Singapore. 2. Sarawak Code of Corporate Governance. The Sarawak Code of Corporate Governance will set out clear standards of board independence, accountability, transparency, and ethical conduct. This will strengthen oversight, prevent conflicts of interest, and ensure that decision-making is always in the best interest of the state and the rakyat. To support this governance framework, a central monitoring mechanism will be established to track compliance and performance across all SOEs under state portfolio. State on the roadmap toward financially self-reliant and high-performing SOEs. Mr. Speaker, we are also embarking on a study aimed to create SOEs that are financially self-reliant and can contribute positively to the state fiscal position. The expected outcome of this study are as follows. A. Streamlined and consolidated SOEs, less in number but strong in capacity and focus. B. Reduce burden on state finances while improving efficiency and performance. And C. Unlock more opportunities for collaboration with the private sector as our SOEs become more commercially oriented. In conclusion, the state ownership policy, together with the Code of Corporate Governance and the self-reliance study, form the foundation of Sarawak's long-term strategy to transform its SOEs into high-performing, sustainable, and accountable institutions. This reform will not only enhance the value of our state enterprises, but will also strengthen Sarawak's position as a competitive, resilient, and forward-looking economy. 2. Result-based budgeting. In 2024, we took a major step forward with the implementation of the result-based budgeting RBB framework. However, RBB alone cannot deliver the full transformation we envision. It must operate within a broader and interconnected, yaitu integrated management ecosystem that aligns every part of government. To achieve this, the Economic Planning Unit Sarawak is entrusted to take the lead to establish the IRBM forward, that is the Integrated Result-Based Management Framework. This framework will form the foundation for a result-based governance framework that links policy vision, strategic planning, budgeting, implementation, and evaluation into a seamless chain of accountability. Tan Sri Dato' Amau, Speaker, further funding and 2026 federal budget. I wish to extend my sincere appreciation to federal government for the 6 billion allocation to Sarawak under Malaysia Budget 2026. This increase, though incremental from 5.9 billion last year, reflect a positive step towards addressing regional development disparities under the Madani framework. However, I must respectfully highlight that Sarawak's development needs still remain substantial. Given our vast geography and unique infrastructural challenges, this allocation, while welcome, is not sufficient to fully bridge the gap between Sarawak and Peninsular Malaysia. Sarawak is not merely a recipient of federal funds. We contribute significantly to the national economy, particularly through our oil and gas revenues. As we move forward, I hope that future budget will reflect a more equitable alignment between Sarawak's contribution and the scale of federal investment required to unlock our full development potential and address our long-standing developmental needs. Tan Sri Dato' Amau, Speaker, the journey towards a stronger Sarawak will be demanding. There will be trials, there will be pressures that test our unity. Yet, as long as we stand together, committed to our common purpose, no force can divide us. In this pivotal year, the GPS government reaffirms its dedication to expanding opportunities and support for all. We call on every member of society to play their part in shaping a future Sarawak that is inclusive, empowered, and ready for the future. As I said, if we have strength in our natural capital, we build our human capital. That's why next year we start with free education to all Sarawakians. And it's our aspiration, Dato' Ahmad Speaker, as the 11 ASEAN countries has high hope that Sarawak become the battery of ASEAN. We are preparing ourselves in the new economy, and it is our aspiration, particularly GPS government aspiration, that Sarawak become a star in ASEAN. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Belanjawan Sarawak tahun 2026 ini bukan sekadar dokumen keuangan, tetapi manifestasi jelas iltizam politik kerajaan GPS untuk terus memacu Sarawak ke arah kemakmuran yang lebih setara dan berkualiti. Setiap ringgit yang diperuntukkan mencerminkan keberanian kita membuat keputusan strategik, keutamaan yang berpaksikan rakyat, serta kesungguhan untuk memastikan Sarawak mampu bersaing di pentas rantau dan global. Inilah belanjawan yang disandarkan pada prinsip kebertanggungjawaban dan visi jangka panjang untuk membawa perubahan nyata kepada kehidupan rakyat. Pada kesimpulannya, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, belanjawan ini bukan sekadar angka dan dasar. Ini adalah cerminan harapan dan tekad bersama. Di sebalik setiap perincian tersulam usaha insan yang bekerja tanpa jemu demi masa depan yang mampan untuk Sarawak. The GPS government has laid out strategic measures to further strengthen Sarawak's revenue base with a firm commitment to exploring and diversifying new revenue streams in the years ahead. For record, under my administration, our revenue has increased by 2.4 times from 5.9 billion in 2016 to 14.2 billion in 2024. This achievement was driven by the introduction of new revenue sources, particularly from state tax on petroleum products, where we exercise our right under the Malaysian agreement as so stated in our constitution. So we got extra money. Menpo Sarawak. Ada orang lain janji tapi dia tidak buat. Aluminium, certek, aluminium, timber, ferroalloy, and polysilicon, and also the introduction of state dividend policy. On the expenditure side, more than 10 billion ringgit has been allocated annually since 2018 for both operating and development purposes towards fulfilling our commitment to the people. Budget 26, Datuk Ahmad Speaker, we did not include another stream of revenue yet. If that is included, we are fantastically very strong. Saya takut ialah ada orang envy, jealous dengan what we have achieved. Maka dengan semangat, keyakinan dan kesepaduan, saya menyegu seluruh ahli Dewan tanpa mengira perbezaan pandangan politik termasuk kawan kita 2 orang untuk bersama-sama menyokong belanjawan ini demi kepentingan Sarawak dan generasi masa depan. Kita wajib menunjukkan kepada rakyat bahawa kepimpinan negeri ini bersatu dalam matlamat membina Sarawak yang lebih maju, stabil dan progresif di bawah naungan kepimpinan yang utuh dan berpandangan jauh. Di kesempatan ini saya ingin merakamkan setinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada rakan-rakan saya dalam kabinet. Terima kasih banyak. Kepada para pegawai pengawal di kementerian dan jabatan, thank you very much. Serta seluruh warga kerja yang telah mencurahkan tenaga, masa dan komitmen dalam menjayakan penyediaan belanjawan Sarawak tahun 2026. Kecekalan, semangat kerja berpasukan dan profesionalisme yang ditunjukkan oleh semua pihak telah menjadi tunjang kepada perancangan belanjawan yang inklusif, berhemah dan berdaya tahan demi kesejahteraan rakyat. Penghujung kalam sebagai bingkisan harapan, saya ingin hari dengan 2 pantun. Pagi cerah, mentari bersinar, petani gigih menanam padi, belanjawan bijak, rakyat disinar, kemakmuran dikejar, masa depan lestari. Gunung Santubong berbalam senja, awan berarak ke ufuk timur, tertib teratur mengurus belanja. Moga Sarawak terus maju dan makmur. Terima kasih.
Another minister to second.
Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I beg to second.
Usul untuk merujuk resolusi anggaran perbelanjaan pembangunan bagi tahun 2026 kepada Jawatankuasa Perbekalan. Supply 2026 Bill 2025, Premier of Sarawak, Minister for Finance and New Economy.
Tan Sri, Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I beg to move that the following resolution be referred to the Committee of Supply. That is the one resolved to approve the development estimate 2026 as contained in Common Paper number 13 of 2025, laid on the table on 24th November 2025. As presented in Common Paper number 13 of 2025, the total development expenditure for 2026 amount to 9,272 million ringgit. Out of this amount, 9,029 million ringgit will be financed by state funds, while the balance of 243 million ringgit will be financed by federal government through reimbursable loans and grants. The sum of 9,272 million as proposed has been allocated on the basis of projected expenditure commitment and requirement for approved development activities during the year. The proposed allocation by major sectors are as follows. A total of 4,823 million is allocated under the economic sector for the following programs. 1. 2,391 million ringgit is for purposes such as state corporate investment, development agencies projects and programs, tourism industry development and promotion, state industrialization and conservation and protection of heritage collection. 2. 1,295 million is for purposes such as roads, bridges, riverine infrastructure and ports, land and riverine transportation, aviation services and various special development projects under Project Rakyat. 3. 455 million ringgit is for upgrading and expansion of water supply and electricity connectivity, especially to the rural areas, which includes a sum of 136 million ringgit for Sarawak Water Sdn Bhd. 4. 221 million ringgit is for purposes such as crop industry development and research, mechanization and agriculture infrastructure, livestock, veterinary services, agriculture education and promotion, inland fisheries and agriculture development. 5. 68 million ringgit is for digital economy initiative. 6. 137 million ringgit is for scientific research and development, which include Sarawak Science Centre and Sarawak Infectious Disease Centre. 721 million ringgit is for feasibility studies on various state development planning and policy formulation. 8. 164 million ringgit is for purposes such as urban drainage and flood mitigation, river and coastal engineering, forestry research and development, forest management, as well as environmental sustainability. And 9. 750,000 for the development of mineral industry. B. A total of 3,832 million ringgit is allocated under social sector for the following programs. 1. 1,904 million ringgit is for purposes such as implementation of various Google transformation projects, minor Google projects, urban development and residential scheme, and women and family development. 2. 640 million ringgit is for Sumbangan Kepulauan Asas Sarawak SKAS. 3. 386 million ringgit is mainly for implementation of various kampung redevelopment, construction of affordable houses under Housing Development Corporation, and program penambahbaikan rumah miskin Sarawak PPRMS. 4. 295 million ringgit is for implementation of various local authorities projects, including urban sewerage, waste management, and landfill development. 5. 431 million is for implementation of various education and training program, including free tertiary education scheme, innovation and talent development initiative. 661 million ringgit for upgrading of various sports and social facilities throughout state. And 7. 15 million ringgit for the construction of Sarawak Cancer Center. C. A total of 617 million ringgit is allocated under general administration sector for implementation of projects such as government offices and service quarters and government ICT project. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I beg to move.
Another minister to second.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I beg to second.
Alele yang berhormat, the debate on the Supply 2026 Bill 2025 stands adjourned until Wednesday, 26 November 2025. We have a lunch break. Sitting resumes at 2:30 p.m.